Good afternoon. Welcome to this special edition of Faith, Family, and Political Affairs. I'd like to just acknowledge the passing of one of my favorite famous people, Miss Dolly Parton. She was 80 years old, and my understanding is that she passed away after a brief battle with cancer. I am aware that several months ago, she abruptly ended a tour that she was doing. And at the time, her sister had announced that she was battling some health condition. And Miss Dolly would later come out and make her own announcement with her usual optimism. I remember she said something to the effect of, "I'm good. I'm just taking a break, getting some rest, and I'll be back." And of course, those of us who love Miss Dolly were prayerful and hoping that she would overcome whatever it was that she was facing at that time. It was not announced publicly that it was cancer. Um, so I was quite surprised and quite disheartened when I learned of her passing. But she was such a ball of energy. It was, the talent was immense. Her singing ability was awesome. And then she was also an incredible songwriter. And then even in acting, she was amazing. So I just wanted to come on and just put my little 2 cents in um, to say how much I appreciated the life um, that she lived. I first saw Miss Dolly Parton on a show that aired back in the day. It was called Hee Haw. My mother used to watch it, and it featured a lot of country music singers. And they would come on and they would do songs, and sometimes they would do skits. There was this woman on there who wore the big straw hat. Her name was Minnie Pearl. And Porter Wagner, who would later become Miss Dolly's producer, he was very, very famous at the time in country music, and he was on that show quite a bit. But it was during a time when there were just those three main channels, those three networks. And you pretty much, and we had one TV. And so you pretty much had to watch whatever my mom was watching. And she loved that show, Hee Haw. So that's where I first saw Dolly Parton. And I remember she sang on that show. And I remember thinking, because I've always loved music, I remember thinking that she can really sing. She's a very nice voice, even though it was country music and I wasn't all that thrilled with that twang, as we called it. But she had a beautiful singing voice. And later on, I would be home on a Saturday afternoon, and everybody else was outside, and I was watching the movies, and this film came on that she starred in with Burt Reynolds, and it was called The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Check the name out, and she was the madam in that story, and but that was the first time that I heard her sing "I Will Always Love You." And that's when I really fell in love with her voice, because even though it was country, oh, she sang that song so beautifully. And I didn't know at that time that she had also written that song. But and that was a good movie, so look that one up. But and she did a great acting job in that. That's the thing about Miss Dolly; she could do pretty much whatever she, put her mind to. Um, but fast forward now, she sang I Will Always Love You in that film. And also it was she tells the story that another famous person, much more famous than she at the time, Elvis Presley, wanted to sing that song. And this is in tribute to her business savvy. Um, he wanted to sing the song, but he wanted to own the song as well. Once he sang a song, he felt that his name was so big that once he sang it, he wanted to own it. And she knew even then, even though she was much newer in the business at the time than she knew that that was a hit song. She had written that song and she knew that it was a hit. And so she very kindly, said no to Elvis Presley, which really was not done in those years. But so she was a little bit downhearted from having to turn him down on that. But as I said, she wanted to protect that song. And she said that she learned that from her father, how to be astute in business and how to protect her own interests. And even though she was petite and, a woman during those years, women were groundbreaking in the music industry, of course, and certainly in country music. Um, and so, they weren't expecting her to be as business savvy as she was. But let's fast forward on to The Bodyguard. Okay, so she's turned Elvis down and she's singing that song herself, and she's doing a great rendition of it. But when Kevin Costner decided to do The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston, he was looking for a love song, a ballad, sort of, to have as the main song for the soundtrack of that movie. And he had heard of I Will Always Love You. So he approached her team to see if they could use it in The Bodyguard. And her team, they granted that wish. And of course, I Will Always Love You, after Whitney Houston sang it, it became not only a national hit, but it became an international hit as well. And the rest, as they say, is history. And Miss Dolly often joked about how much money she made each time that Whitney Houston would sing I Will Always Love You, because as the songwriter, she got royalties from that. So I'm going to share the moment with you at the Grammys when both of these beautiful women were together on stage, all because of that beautiful song. So let's see if we can get this to go.
Dolly, of course, coming from you, this is truly an honor. You wrote a beautiful song. Thank you so much for writing such beautiful songs, really.
And the Grammy goes to Whitney Houston!
Dolly, of course, coming from you, this is truly an honor. You wrote a beautiful song. Thank you so much for writing such beautiful songs, really.
I always loved that moment. I don't watch the Grammys the way I used to, but the Grammys have always been very good at those kind of moments, putting the right people together at the right time. There was another time when um, Miss Dolly sang with Miley Cyrus, and they always sing great duets together. And if you happen to visit my Facebook page right now, that is one of the songs, one of the tributes to her life that is on my page. It's a duet with her and Miley Cyrus, two songs, Wrecking Ball and I Will Always Love You. They sing that together beautifully. So I just wanted to share that moment with you when she presented the Grammy to Whitney Houston for a song that she wrote. And as you could see, they were both beaming. Um, and Whitney was so gracious in thanking Miss Dolly for writing a beautiful song. And I thought that Miss Dolly was very humble, just standing there smiling, um, and being happy for Whitney. So I love that moment. But that was Miss Dolly. She was always light. She was always laughter. And I think that was the beauty, in her. She, in addition to all of the talent, because, she was in so many great films. Um, in addition to her talent, there was something about her personality that was just warm and inviting. I never saw her perform in person, but in everything that she did, I felt a warmth. I felt that she understood the human um, condition. You know, and I loved her in Steel Magnolias, which she starred in with Julia Roberts and Sally Field and Olympia Dukakis. And if you have not seen Steel Magnolias, I recommend that movie highly. Great plot, great acting, and Miss Dolly played the hairdresser in town, and she did all the hair for all the prominent women. And I thought that even though all these other women were great actresses, well known for acting, I thought that Miss Dolly held her own in that film and did an excellent job. Then she was in the film 9 to 5 with Jane Fonda and Lily Tomlin, another great performance on her part. Again, these ladies were actors. Lily Tomlin, more known as a comedian, but Miss Dolly held her own in that film. She even sang the theme song, Working 9 to 5. And it had to do, with women asserting their um, own business prowess in the workplace, which was, a novel idea in the 80s. Um, and the film with Burt Reynolds, I already mentioned that. But she had other films that she appeared in, and it would be worthwhile to check those out. And then you get a more complete picture of who Miss Dolly was. Her music transcended the country music genre. And on my Facebook page and my other pages, I call her the queen of country music. I'm sure other people are calling her that. Um, and although she was the queen of country music, she could sing with anybody and she could sing any song. In my little research that I did for this video, I found a rap rendition that she did when she guest appeared on Queen Latifah's show. And that's quite interesting. Look that up. And she just had a way um, of being. She did not let any of the difficult issues of the day, um, you know, still her joy. And there were very often many times when interviewers would ask her about like Black Lives Matter or about gay marriage. And Miss Dolly had a way of explaining her position through the lens of her Christian faith. And she would say that she just believed in loving people and not judging people. She felt that judging people was up to God and not up to us as individuals. And she had that take for questions about Black Lives Matter and a very similar response to a position on gay marriage. Um, she felt that people are people and love is love, and that people should be able to be who they are. And people should be embraced and loved for who they are. And that also was the beauty in her. And it always came through, I feel, in everything that she did. Um, in addition to her singing, she also had the amusement park named in her honor, Dollywood. And from all reports that I could find, it's been a very lucrative venture for her. Again, she's a very astute businesswoman. She said that she got that from her father, that even though he was a man who could not read or write, she said he was very smart, and that she learned how to be a good businesswoman from listening to the advice of her father. Her father also was the reason that she started her literacy project. She would, her project donates books to children. And the project makes sure that children will have their names in their books. And I understood that because I remember when I was very young and I was hooked on my weekly reader, and it would come in the mail. And even though we didn't have a whole lot of money, my mother did that for me. She got me that subscription. And I would just wait for it because it had my name on it. And then I would get somewhere under a tree or in a corner somewhere in the house and just go through my weekly reader. And it caused me to love reading, which led to a career in writing and journalism. And so I think that she is influencing so many lives in a positive way with that literacy project, all inspired by her father not being able to read or write. So that was the beauty in her. She always brought light. And I said on my social media pages, a bright light has gone out in America and across the world. And I really feel like that with her passing. But she did leave behind, all of this wonderful, wonderful music and the film work and also this literacy project. So she's left us a whole lot to remember. And I wanted to share just one other tribute that she did, because she was very famous for self-deprecating humor. She would very often talk about her own endowments, and she would make jokes about how many wigs she wore, and she would make jokes about how much makeup she wore. Um, but she was always doing that in jest, but to put people at ease, and also to compliment many other people. That was her way. Um, and so she wrote a song for this one person who I adore, and I'm going to try to share that with you. You know, in addition to her singing, she also played guitar, and that was one thing that I loved to hear her um, play the guitar and sing at the same time. And she managed to do it, you know, what seemed to be effortlessly, you know, without much effort. It seemed to come very easy to her to play the guitar and to sing. And I loved watching her do that. So I'm going to, she wrote this song for this other famous person. And when she appeared on his show, I can't get my cursor to work here for it. When she appeared on his show, she played that song for him, and that which she had written for him. She played the song, and played her guitar while she was singing it. So as soon as you see this person, you'll know why I wanted to share it, because he was so popular also during the time when she was becoming famous. He was already famous. Okay, so we're going to, I have it now, so let's see if we can share it so that you can hear this. One of my all-time favorite late night people.
Well, I wrote this song because it's been real good for me ever since I started on your show. And you said one time, once I got to be real famous, I probably wouldn't come back on the show, but I always will. I'm here about as much as you are.
Good friends can say that.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. We can say anything. But I was only kidding because everybody kids you about it.
Yeah.
I only like the show. Well, I think other people do a good job, but I only really like to watch it when you're on.
Oh, thank you.
And I don't call it the Tonight Show. To me, it's the Johnny Carson Show.
You're saying all the right things.
No, I'm serious. So,
You want me to hold that for you?
No, I'm going to pick it a little. As good as I can with the nails. But it's all in the words, and it's, you know, I think it is. Now, it's not supposed to be too serious, so. I have come a long way from the hills of Tennessee, and I've worked hard to make the folks back home real proud of me. Now everybody knows my name, no matter where I go, but I never really made it till the Johnny Carson Show. Dreamed of stardom since I was just a kid. $1 million dream beneath this $13 wig. In my bell-bottom jumpsuits with my rhinestones all aglow, I became an overnight success from the Johnny Carson Show. From polyester paradise to silk and satin frills, from a 48-foot mobile home to a mansion on the hill, from moonshine to rare wine, from a Packard to a Rolls, but I never really made it till the Johnny Carson Show. Now there's only only one small problem. Sometimes I get disturbed. The folks sometimes get me confused with Monty Rock the Third. But still, I think it's worth it, and I just thought you should know that I'll always owe a special thanks to the Johnny Carson Show. I went from pop beads to diamonds, from car coats to fur, from Kmart to Gucci's, from here no telling where, from hillbilly heaven to a penthouse on the coast. But I never really made it till the Johnny Carson Show.
I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. Carson was one of my all-time favorite too. And I never called it the Tonight Show when Johnny Carson was doing it. It was always the Johnny Carson Show to me as well. I love that that she sang that song, wrote it for him and sang that song. Even though she had been working, I saw an interview that she gave. She had been singing since she was like 9 or 10. So clearly that show did not, she was not an overnight, wonder, and the show didn't make her career. But certainly that song paid tribute to Johnny Carson for helping to make her a household name. So as I said, I just wanted to add my 2 cents in, and to just let my audiences know how much I appreciate the life that she led. And I had heard several months ago that Miss Dolly was battling a health condition. At the time, it was not clear, it was not announced. Her sister announced that she was fighting some sort of health condition, but they did not say at the time, what that condition was. And so she made her own announcement shortly after, and which she said after canceling her tour, she came back out and she said, I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm just resting, and I'll be back. She said in so many words, and she talked in that interview that I saw. I believe it was an advertisement. I think it was just her. And she was talking about her vision of a musical, a Broadway musical that would showcase all of her music, the songs that she'd written, a Dolly musical, the songs that she'd written and the songs that she sings. And she was very excited about the prospect of working on that. And so she was never resting, really. She was always working, it seemed, even though she was 80 years old, born, in 1946. So even though she was 80 years old, she was constantly working right on up until that ailment caused her to cancel her tour. And I just, how you hope and pray that people are getting better. And so I was quite surprised when I heard of her passing, and just wanted to say thank you to her as she thanked Johnny Carson for helping her along. I just want to say thank you to Miss Dolly for being that bright light, and especially in a country that seems to be racing toward darkness these days. Thank her. I just wanted to thank her for being loving, for being kind, for understanding people, for reaching across lines of color, for reaching across lines of economy. She was always reaching out to people who did not have as much as she had. And then she was always reaching out to people, whether they were gay or straight. For her, people were just people. And I love that about her. We will be missing her terribly, but we are glad that she is no longer suffering. And we know that a few years ago, she lost her husband of 50 plus years. And she has talked about how she missed him, um, after he passed away. So we take some comfort in knowing that while she has left this earth, she is now celebrating with her husband, reunited in the heavenlies, and having a celebration there with him and her other loved ones. So we thank Miss Dolly for all she gave. Um, and we will always remember her and always treasure the love and the kindness that she brought to us. I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been my tribute to Miss Dolly Parton. I always like to say, girl, you got it done. When you were here, you did your thing, and we thank you for it. Take your rest. You have deserved it. You have earned it. Thank you for tuning in. This has been another edition of Faith, Family, and Political Affairs.